Hi, I'm with Alan Masarek, CEO of Vonage. So Alan, what are some of the messages you told the audience at the BC Summit?
So we had a great opportunity as a sponsor here to deliver the keynote message. And the key thing that we talked about, and what I talked about in my keynote, was that really the metamorphosis that we've had as a company, going from our roots in residential, now building what is today the largest business across the combined UCaaS and CPaaS market. So $500 million in revenues this year alone, growing very quickly. Another key message I had was when we talk about the UCaaS market, and which the principal use case has been about moving the PBX and or contact center to the cloud, is that that's a heavy lift. And we talk about, when I mean heavy lift, it's a very big proposition for our customers to do that. We compared that a lot to CPaaS, where there's an opportunity to provide immediate value to companies, even if the PBX decision moving to the cloud is some time off. You can use now, the CPaaS tools, these microservices, to bring communications functionality to the enterprise, even if they're not ready to cloudify the rest of their infrastructure.
So obviously UCaaS and CPaaS are two big things for you, and the intersection of both of them are really what's differentiating Vonage these days. So can you give us some examples of how customers are using Vonage's UCaaS and CPaaS?
So first of all, what's happened is the reason we made the acquisition of Nexmo just less than a year and a half ago was we believe greatly that you have to take the CPaaS tools, which are generally how a business communicates with its customers, and marry them to the UCaaS tools, which is generally used inside the company for its employees. And take those two levels of communication and integrate those back into the other workflow tools that all of our corporate customers use, whether it's productivity with Office 365 or G Suite, CRM with Salesforce, help tools with Zendesk, et cetera, et cetera. So that value chain from customer communication to employee communication back into the workflow tools is our focus. What we're seeing is it's changing the conversation that we have with customers. So rather than just talking about the benefit of moving the PBX to the cloud, we can also talk about how the customer or the business itself can communicate with its customers. And so the whole emphasis is about better business outcomes for our customers. How can you use communications to produce a better business outcome? You see use cases where the actual let's say click-to-call functionality that happens that's delivered via CPaaS can be integrated through the IVRs into the PBX itself. So you can envision a time that you're on an airline site and you're booking a flight. Let's say you're 10 minutes into the session trying to book the flight, you have a problem. Traditionally, you pick the phone up and call their toll-free number and have to start over because there's no context of what you're trying to do. Now, you'll be able to hit click-to-call functionality. It maintains knowledge of the context of the itinerary you were trying to book, and it'll route you through the correct IVRs within the broader contact center and or PBX to the right person. You can envision then the agent picking up the phone and saying, "Hi, Mr. Masarek, I see you're trying to book a flight from here to there. How can I help?" The whole notion of the integration here is we're trying to restore that personalization and customer intimacy that sometimes gets lost in digital transformation. People are moving to digital solutions because it creates great scalability in their businesses, but by virtue of doing that, they can lose the personal touch. These communication elements can restore the personal touch, restore that personalization, that customer intimacy. That's the approach.
Okay, this might be a little sore topic, but Vonage didn't make it onto the Gartner Magic Quadrant for UCaaS this year. What happened?
So the criteria for the Magic Quadrant the requirement was that you had to be selling in the three major regions of the world. So in North America, in EMEA, and in APAC. Now, while we have many customers in APAC, the focus has been domestic, US domestic, or UK domestic multinationals who have operations in APAC. That's been the largest focus for us. We don't have a lot of resources on the ground in Australia, as an example, selling to, let's say, the local Australian law firm or something like that, the A-end customers in those markets. And that was the criteria that if you weren't represented in the three markets of the world that way, then you didn't qualify. What's interesting about it, and almost ironic, is the CPaaS side for us. I would imagine that our CPaaS revenues in APAC are probably 10 or 20-fold anybody else in the industry, because we're the number one in market share in CPaaS in APAC. We maintain offices in Singapore for Southeast Asia, Hong Kong for Northern APAC. We're opening 3 offices in mainland China, in Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Beijing. We're opening another office in Japan. We serve the largest companies there. WeChat, Tencent, Alibaba, Alipay, Huawei.
Those are pretty big names.
Exactly. So it was just sort of in the strict interpretation that we don't qualify, which is okay. I just think it is a yesteryear sort of view of unified communications. My personal opinion is communications is the marriage of these two delivery models, the SaaS model, which is the UCaaS side, and the PaaS model, which has been the CPaaS side. That's our approach, that's our focus. It just doesn't fit the criteria that Gartner had.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Alan, and best of luck with your future endeavors with Vonage and UCaaS and CPaaS.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.